Ladies.
Greetings and welcome, family. Greetings and welcome to the one and only Got Kush TV, your number one conscious media platform coming out of the UK. But right about now, we are broadcasting live and international. Yes, indeed, family. You know what I'm saying? We have some very, 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 very special guests. And I'm saying that they're guests, but really, this is their show. I'm only here to help introduce the show to you, all kings and queens. So they're not even guests. These are the primary and principal owners, controllers, movers, and setters of the trends when it comes to this particular show. Introducing to you the Black Economics Collective, yes, indeed, kings and queens, and the show called the BEC Booster. For those who are a little bit slow on the uptake, BEC is the acronym associated with the Black Economics Collective. Yes, indeed, kings and queens. And this particular show is all designed to ensure that we bring you, the cutting edge opportunities in Black businesses, profiling Black businesses, and being able to boost, the profile and the profits and the returns to Black businesses. So without further ado, some of you who have been listening and watching intently on Got Kush TV will recognize these beautiful melanated faces from previous occasions, but we're going to just make sure that we get everybody up speed and knowing who these people are. And so let me go round in the circle, starting with my sister on the screen below me. And if you could just introduce yourself to the masses all throughout the world, and then we're going to introduce everybody to the Black Economic Collective and the BEC Booster in general. So starting with Sister Diana Powell. Yes.
Greetings, everybody. It's so lovely to be here today. I'm Diana Powell. Some of you may know me also as Ari Ma'at. I'm very familiar with the God Kush brand. You may have seen me on the Black Economic Show. Just a little bit about myself, for those who don't know. I've lived now in the Middle East now going on 5 years, 2 years in Saudi Arabia, and now 3 years in UAE. I'm in education, one of my other hats before I left the UK. I'm an international development consultant. I've worked with another number of local authority initiatives in London. I was the CEO of the Global Institute for Entrepreneurship. That's very much about inclusive entrepreneurship, predominantly focused in the African Caribbean communities, not just in the UK, but also in Africa and Caribbean. I'm now with BEC, the Black Economic Collective, even though we're here within the UAE, and we'll go into a little bit more, but it's definitely right now the time for those Black businesses and those Black entrepreneurs.
Give thanks to you, Sister Ari Ma'at. Sister Kai, introduce yourself to the masses.
Hey, my name is Leanne, but also here in the UAE, I'm known as Kai. I've been here almost 4 years now. I came here as a musician, but going back to my roots from the UK, I fell into business and entrepreneurship. So I'm a creative entrepreneur here. I still do music, but I also created a platform called Black Girl in Dubai, which is all about promoting and celebrating the Black community here. There are so many from all over, whether it's from different parts of Africa, of course, the Caribbean, and then, of course, us as Westerners from the UK and the USA, all in one big melting pot. So there's many, many nationalities here. But in terms of the Black community, I really wanted to bring that together and, you know, promote Black businesses. So there are quite a few here. In the beginning, it was a little bit hard to find. But overall, we've got over 100 plus, you know, and growing. So sharing that passion, that's how I came together with Marcia and Diana, and we created BEC. So that's me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And finally, Sister Marcia.
Hi, greetings everyone. I'm Marcia. I've been living here in the UAE for over 20 years. My background is also in education. I'm also a business owner, and through my own story of self-discovery, I've actually developed something called the Powerful Purpose Philosophy, where I actually empower women to dig deep, to find their gems within. So I'm all about empowering, uplifting people in our community. And again, like my sisters, Diana and Kai, you know, this is how we formed the Black Economic Collective.
Thank you very much, my sister. All right, so you've kind of given an idea of why you formed the Black Economics Collective. Let's go into that a little bit more. Yeah, what is the Black Economics Collective? Why? How? When did it form? Why did it form? And what is your intention? Where you do? Where you really are going with?
Okay.
Anybody can take that one. Anybody can take that one. Sorry, sister. There's a little bit of feedback from you, sister. Arima. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the Black Economic Collective. It was established in 2020, and it actually was birthed from conversations that the three of us were having during a lot of the disturbances that were formulated and went global in terms of Black Lives Matter and what was happening with George Floyd, and also the surge of support for Black businesses and Black entrepreneurs. So women as we are, you know, with that entrepreneurial spirit, we sit back and have numerous conversations about the debates around racism and discrimination and some of those, you know, what are some of the solutions? So from those conversations and and the number of back and forth between the three of us, it leveled itself down. And then from there, the Black Economic Collective, EMA, I should say, was birthed.
Explain the EMA part.
Okay, so as you know, we all live here in the UAE, and as Kai explained, it's this region of the world is quite central, and it's also very much a melting pot. So we wanted to develop an initiative, and when I say initiative, it's an initiative to solve problems. It's an initiative to connect businesses and brands within Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and the Americas. And the reason why we've chosen EMA, because again, these are the businessmen and women that are from the diaspora. I must also say, I have to also say, from the African diaspora that reside within this region of the world. And because of that, we wanted to have a name, an initiative that brought us all together.
Right.
So the focus is very much about the Black African diaspora. And the reason why we chose that is because we wanted an identity, yes, that connected all of us together. I mean, I know Kai can expand on this a bit more. I mean, she's been here, Marcia's been here, and they've kind of, experienced some of the fragmentation that's been taking place within our community. So I know they can expand on that a bit more as to why we decided to focus on the target market that we focused on.
Right. Well, go ahead, expand.
Yeah, I mean, even in the UK, I think sometimes still to date, there's a little bit of this kind of crabs in a barrel kind of mentality, and people feeling like they can't or don't want to share because they don't want someone else to get ahead or whatever. And for me personally, when I first moved out here, it was so difficult just to find some of the basic stuff. And when I started to find Black businesses, I would tell any and everyone that I came across, it was just natural for me personally. Me holding on to that information is not going to benefit me. Do you know what I mean? I need to pass it on to other people. And so that's kind of what birthed Black Girl in Dubai. But overall, out here, I think there's this kind of community, because when you see another British person or at least another Black person, it's like, hey, where are you from? It's kind of like the traditional question that's asked here, like, where are you from? What do you do?
Yes.
And it's just about bringing people together. Like, we don't need to be disconnected. We don't need to, be over there and separated. And especially with the current race tensions and stuff like that, like, if it's not now, then when are we going to do it? I just think, all of us agree that it's time to just come together. There's power in numbers, and, it doesn't need to just be over food. We can talk about all kinds of things and actually celebrate our differences, instead of kind of being like, okay, you're Jamaican and you're this and you're that, and oh, you're African. And it doesn't need to be that. We can just do business together. And we realize between us, we've all got so many skills that, again, the next person doesn't know or doesn't have. So if we can connect all the dots, then let's do it.
All right. Anything you want to add, Sister Marcia?
Yeah, just to kind of echo really what both sisters have said, which is, about having moral cohesion, being active and intentional in what we do. And if we do that as a collective, we can definitely, grow in leaps and bounds.
Random question. What's the weather like in the UAE right now?
Very warm. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm looking at you earlier.
It's about, and I'm not bragging here, but it's about 32, 35. That is cooler, because about 3 weeks ago we were having like high 40s.
Yes.
And the humidity was ridiculous. So the humidity has drastically gone down, and it's about 30-ish now.
I had to ask you, because I'm looking at you earlier, I'm looking at myself, and I'm thinking these sisters look a lot more radiant than me right about now. I'm jealous, you know what I'm saying, and all these things. So we give thanks, you know what I mean? But either way, right? So, all right, so let me, we're going to get back to the BEC Booster in a second, but I know that many people are not necessarily familiar with Black people in the UAE, yes? And I want to, because if my maths is correct, Marcia, you've been there the longest, yes? Right. Yes. Now, so I'm going to start with you on this one, my sister, yeah? Because you said 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years ago, most people in England didn't even know what the UAE was, yeah? Most people in England got to know
Right.
what the UAE was when they bought the football stadium, right? Arsenal and that, right?
Right.
And with the rise of the airline in California. I remember being in school, and a girl joined the school. This was in like late 90s, yeah, maybe. And she said she's from Dubai, and I had heard of Dubai before, but she said
Right.
she was surprised because most people had never heard of Dubai. But Dubai was a place that was just making a name for itself at that time.
Exactly.
So you seem to have seen the trend long time and just duck out, gone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not, right? You know what I mean? So explain this process to me now in terms of you kind of seeing the trend, the rise of this particular city, and making your way and actually relocating there when very few people even knew what Dubai was at the time.
Yeah, good point. To be fair, even myself, it was not somewhere that I was familiar with. You know, my husband at the time was offered a job out here, and so we moved out here because we wanted to explore different, you know, opportunities. I had one child at the time. She was just about to embark on school, and it just seemed like the transition was a sensible one. I mean, there was really, I had nothing to lose. You know, it was a thing where if it doesn't work, I can come back. And truth be told, the plan was for 2 years.
Right.
And here I am 20 years later, still here.
Okay, now that's an interesting one. I'm gonna come back to that 2-year plan in a second. But for you, Kai, yeah, I'm interested because I'm a creative as well. And in terms of moving, when people think about moving anywhere, if they're in the creative arts, 9 times out of 10, it's to America, yeah, because the industry is bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? There's supposedly more opportunities. What takes us an artist, yeah, to the United Arab Emirates to pursue their arts?
So, to be fair with you, I think my answer is going to be similar to everyone's, and it's about opportunities and actual hard-earned cash.
Yes.
You can earn tax-free here.
Tax-free money.
I actually visited about 7 or 8 years ago because I had a cousin who already moved here and now has been here about 10, 11 years. And just coming here and seeing how fast-paced it was, it reminded me of Europe, but it reminded me of America. There was so much, and I think when you go on holiday to most places, you just get one or the other. If you're in Europe, you're in Europe. If you're in America, you're in America. But Dubai, for me, seemed to have all of it, you know, nightlife, shopping, the food, you know, just outdoor stuff. And I always kind of wanted to come back, but I think I was, like most Londoners, scared to actually leave the nest. You say you want to do it, but then actually jumping over and doing it is another thing. But when I came, and I like Marcia, I said I'd do a year, and pretty much as most expat stories, you say you're coming for a job or some kind of opportunity, and it gets extended until something forces you to leave.
Right.
And it was just a lot more freedom. I could earn more, doing less, and it was a no-brainer. Do I want to work in the sun or do I want to work in the cold?
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Yes, it's and I think your thing is a little bit more conventional in terms of the stories that I've heard, because I know a lot of people that go to Dubai to teach, yeah, Saudi Arabia to teach, right? There's a lot of teaching jobs over there for Black people, yeah. So yeah, explain your thing. Why? What took you out there? Why did you eventually stay?
Put it this way: the Middle East wasn't a place that was on my bucket list. Put it that way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was an opportunity that presented itself during a time where there was a lot of uncertainty. And the time I'm referring back to is the Brexit and the referendum. It shook the UK. One morning, I woke up and we're out of Europe. So what happened during that period? As I said, I was CEO of another organization, and literally our support and funding literally came to a standstill. So again, it was looking at, what next? So an opportunity came my way. I was very hesitant about it, but we spoke with the family, and I headed up to Saudi Arabia. And like what Kaya Marcia said, you don't say you're going to be there for a long time. It's normally a case of, well, I'm going to be there for a year, if that, yeah. But the experience for me in Saudi Arabia was amazing, to be honest. It was actually life-changing. And to be honest, I did not want to leave Saudi Arabia, but because of the nature of my contract, I had to leave. So the next opportunity for me that presented itself at that time was the UAE. When I was leaving to go to the UAE, I didn't really pack much of my suitcase because I was like, well, I'm only staying here for that long. And now I'm here 3 years later.
Right. So interesting. Now, I had to ask that question, brothers and sisters, because I want you to understand that we're dealing with women that have international business experience, and that is very important for what we are discussing today in terms of the BEC Booster. So now, who is going to nominate themselves? Oh, by the way, just as a quick house cleaning, if I mute your mic every now and then, it's just quality control, because every now and then there's clashes with mics and them kind of things there. I'll do it to myself, so don't worry about that. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself whenever you want to talk. Yeah, and so yeah, so who's going to explain to us now what is the BEC Booster?
So the BEC Booster is an initiative that we have come up with to promote and spotlight a specific Black business. Now, of course, recently we have had fantastic initiatives such as Juneteenth, which was in the States, and obviously Black Pound Day in the UK, where everyone has collectively come together and there's been a bit of hype and buzz around a specific holiday or date. What we want to do with the BEC Booster is specifically highlight a Black business on a particular day of the month and drive, sales and traffic and visitors to that particular business. And that's kind of been birthed out of, many struggles and frustrations in trying to find, quality Black businesses or ones that actually we do find are amazing, but they don't have the exposure that they need. So creating the BEC Booster is something that will kind of spotlight for a day and give those businesses the media and the eyes and the sales that they need.
Right. Okay. So how are we doing this? How are we doing this? You've chosen Got Kush TV to channel this initiative through. Yeah. So how are we manifesting this boosting of the Black business presence globally? What's the process?
Well, usually, today, obviously, we are promoting ourselves. We are the first and debut BEC Booster. But what we'll be doing with the businesses prior to the actual day of the promotion is working with them to, brush up sort of some of their online presence and then pushing them through some online and social media promo. On the day, they will have their own specific discount. So it might be 50% off, let's say. And prior to that, their audience will know, as well as we will promote that. But on the day, between a certain time, that offer will be available, hence creating a bit of buzz and hype for everyone to go and check it out and not just say, oh yeah, do it tomorrow, do it next week. The idea is all eyes on them on this day, on this time, and hopefully bringing back some repeat customers, and for people to share via word of mouth. So, yeah.
All right. My sister Marcia, anything you want to add to that? Sorry, sister, I had muted you. Go ahead, start again. Pull up. We don't come again.
I would also like to add, now the uniqueness now is now where the BEC brand itself comes into it, and in relation to where we are in the region, and as to why we have decided on the extension of our name, EMA, because it's not just about the focus in one particular region. Our network will expand and give brands the opportunity to enter into new markets. What we've kind of going back to what was mentioned before about how we started and looking at what was taking place back in March, April, May, is that there is a lot that is happening, and there's a lot of inequality. There's a lot of social injustices that's taken place, not just in terms of what you saw taking place with what happened to George Floyd, but when we speak about Black businesses, this is the racism discrimination has been taking place for years. And at what point do we take stock of this and say to ourselves, okay, let us now start to look within our own networks and network amongst ourselves.
Right.
So even though the three of us, we are from the UK and now we live in the Middle East, and as you said earlier on, we now have seen the value of the connections that we have all made, and we want to present this now as also part of the BEC Booster. So the BEC Booster will also open up new opportunities into new markets with people that want to do business with you. You know, too many times we look to other communities, we look to the banks, and we get the door shut in our face. So what we are saying is the development of the networks that we have made within the EMA region, the BEC Boost, and then again, it's a choice because not everybody is ready and able to cross borders, but we are giving you an opportunity to be able to do so. So that is also the added value. So when we speak with you about your BEC Boost, it's also understanding what are your aims and what are your objectives. So we have taken the time and still to develop those networks that will give you opportunities to enter into new markets.
Okay.
And I think as well, you know, so many times, I mean, before coming and actually living abroad, it's one thing going on holiday and traveling all over, but when you actually live somewhere, the experiences are completely different. And of course, you know, London's not going to be like Dubai and vice versa. So having the understanding that we have collectively, and even the network that we have collectively, helping people to get into the UAE if they want to. You know, we've had people asking about how to do property or start a business and have a visa here. There are different options, you know, and having lived and walked that walk now, we can pass that knowledge on to businesses who are actually ready to and even wanting to exploit opportunities abroad, because, you know, we need to start thinking about how we can build our own, you know, platforms and have the economic growth that many other communities have. And so we wanted to have the BEC Booster to realistically keep drumming this message home, because if we're not careful, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, we'll be back in the same cycle. And that would have been, you know, several years worth of investment that we could have put into someone's business, someone's property, or something collectively. So we just really want to keep the momentum going. You know, of course, Black Pound Day are doing a fantastic job with that, having 4 months in now, but it's not just a quick flash in the pan, you know, oh, the race discussions are over. This needs to be a continuous effort. And there are some amazing Black businesses, you know, I've heard people say, oh, there's not this, there's not that. For me, looking, knowing that there's 100 plus here in the UAE, and that's not even all of them, is fantastic. But there are so many more, and that's everywhere. And I think even in the UK and the States, there are so many Black business directories, which is a brilliant first step. But we need to start using these directories. We need to start coming together collectively. We don't need to keep reinventing the wheel. How do we elevate the ones that are already existing, so the next person that jumps on can go faster and easier and smoother? Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of a lot of what we're trying to do. We want to encourage people to keep buying Black, to keep supporting Black, to keep hiring Black. And some of these aren't natural things, you know, and we can start arguing about it forever and, oh, my brother this and my sister that and da-da. Or we can just, okay, we're going to start now. And that's a lot of the ethos behind, you know, why the BEC Booster was created, to really, really enforce that, because there are so many Black businesses out there, so many. Whatever you want, shoes, hats, any kind of skin products, anything you want. Even up here, I think there's like shoe menders out here. I'm like, shoe menders? Black-owned shoe menders, like, that's amazing. Like, there's everything. So the excuses of, oh yeah, but it's done now. You know, of course, customer service wise or whatever, people do need to do better, and collectively, that's with every type of business out there, not just Black businesses. But we need to get rid of that stigma and the excuse that there isn't enough or there isn't whatever. Like, create the solution and support what's going on already.
Thank you very much, Sister Marcia.
Right. I just wanted to add to that, you know, as much as the BEC Booster is about, you know, promoting the business, it's also about, you know, getting the consumers actively involved in, you know, building, you know, these businesses, because at the end of the day, we need them to be part of the movement, not just the moment, as we know, right? And so if we want to build economic solidarity, this is across the globe. We have to work together. We have to work together.
Right, and I do like this international focus. So we're going to come back to that in a sec. But listeners, I hope you are tuning in. Yeah, your ears are very clean and very wide open, because one, you can be involved and be getting boosted as a Black business. Yeah, if you're paying attention and networking, and two, as a customer, you can be the beneficiary of exclusive deals and promotions that will be channeled through specifically through this show on a monthly basis. So do stay tuned for more information. Right, so I want to get now and give the listeners or the viewers an understanding of your understanding of this region, yeah, called EMA, Europe, Middle East, East Africa, Asia, and all these things. All right. So highlight then, from your experience and your travels and them kind of things. Oh, by the way, before I get to that, actually, there is a question in the chat from EX, and he asks, is BEC a non-profit? Is BEC a non-profit?
No, it's not.
Short and sweet, short and sweet, short and sweet.
Sorry, it's because I thought Diana was going to answer, but I realized her mic was off.
No problems, yeah. So if you look now, if you want to register your business, yeah, for a BEC Booster, register now to connect your business internationally at www.blackeconomiccollective.com. Yes, indeed, family. Buy Black, hire Black, and support Black. You know what I mean? Yes, family. So I'm going to leave that there for a while. You take it down, yeah? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you send in your details and network and check out the website and all them things. They must say your website does look very, very good. I like the website, you know what I'm saying? And also, there is a conference taking place, Kings and Queens. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. On Saturday. Hold on a second. No, we need to rejig this one. Yeah, we're going to come back to this because I'm sure there's something not quite correct here. So we're going to come back to this one, yeah? All right, so let's stay tuned for that information. And we're going to talk about the conference in a little while, all right? Okay, family. Now, businesses in the region, yeah, that you will have come in contact with. I think Kai was saying earlier that there's so many businesses that we're not aware of, and I've discovered that as well. Every time there's a Black Pound Day or a Black Directory, even in London, there's a lot of Black businesses that we don't know about. Yeah, so give our viewers an idea of some of the businesses and the industries that you come across that Black people are involved in.
Okay, so I'm the only one off mute at the moment. I'll start. So one of my new favorite spots actually is this beautiful, like honestly, beautiful coffee shop called Mocha 1450. If you've been to Dubai or you haven't, it's on the Palm, which is a very tourist, picturesque location. But it is a Jamaican-owned coffee shop with the finest Jamaican coffee in there. And it's just gorgeous. It looks beautiful. It's very well done. You wouldn't know that it was owned by a Jamaican person. And I say that because often when we think of like an African restaurant or a Caribbean restaurant, we're expecting to walk in and see flags or pictures of Bob Marley or whatever, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it isn't your traditional setup. It's more of your high end, and there's actually 2 locations. So I've only been to the one on the Palm, but it's beautiful. It's more of a luxury coffee shop. Yes. So it's really, really nice. And if you're coming to Dubai or if you live here or ever going to visit, Mocha 1450, check them out. Really, really nice one.
Can I ask a question? You said luxury. Yeah. Where are they getting the coffee from?
Jamaica.
Okay.
Coffee. I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker, so
yes. No, nor am I. I only asked. Sorry, no, I only asked because when I was in Atlanta last year, I went to a coffee shop, Black-owned coffee shop, yeah, and they specialize in like blends from across the African diaspora. So they had like a Jamaican blend and an Ethiopian blend and a Kenyan blend. So I was wondering if they're doing a similar thing still. That's what I was.
Yeah, no, it's Jamaican, and actually, if you're a coffee lover, you'll probably know that the Blue Mountain coffee is probably one of the most expensive out there. So
it is. When I went to Jamaica in '97, I asked my mom, "What do you want me to bring back?" And the one thing she said was Blue Mountain coffee. So you know what I'm saying, that was it. Yeah, that was it. You know what I mean? All right. Anything you want to add, Sister Ari or Sister Marcia?
Yeah.
I would add to that we have a lot of oh, sorry, go ahead, Dana. Go ahead.
No, you go. What I was going to say, it wasn't something specific
Oh Lord. I tell you what. So, Sister Marcia, you go ahead, Sister Ari, go. Go on, sis.
All right, who's gonna
Go on,
go?
Marcia.
Gone.
I just want to add to that on top of the cafe that Kai mentioned, we've also got a fantastic fashion brand called Funchinita. She's based here in Dubai as well. It's a modern streetwear brand which incorporates tribal Ethiopian sustainable fabrics. It also creates work for the Habesha tribe back in Ethiopia. So this is what, for us, this is something that's beyond just fashion, you know, and people like these brands that, okay, they're quite known here, but just giving them global exposure.
Yes.
Because of course, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that would love to support a brand like that.
Yes. Definitely. Go on, Sister Ari.
I wanted to more so add to the conversation of not necessarily a particular type of brand, but I think where, again, there are lessons to be learned even just from the lockdown. In terms of the supply chain, my other business is an African holistic store in London, and we opened the Tree of Eternal Life during the lockdown period. And even during that period, it was so challenging for us to be able to access suppliers. And, our ethos was about, accessing supplies from Black-owned businesses. And, so we're talking about from the wholesalers, and we're talking about from the manufacturers, and we're talking about from the farmers. We actually found it very, very challenging. Not just due to the fact that they weren't accessible during that period, but there was a price war that was also taking place during that period. I don't know if people realize what was happening. You would have seen prices go through the roof.
Yes.
So what we are also saying, and you mentioned about, what types of businesses that are out there. I think many of us, in the region of the UK, I won't speak for the moment, is used to seeing services, is used to seeing online presence or brick and mortar shop, you could say. But the challenge for a lot of the Black businesses is when they now go to buy supplies. A lot of the suppliers, the wholesalers, do not look like us. And if you really want to dig down and you want to look at racism and discrimination, you will see a lot of that taking place just right there. So there's a times when sometimes you see a Black business and you wonder, why is it that their prices are more? A lot of the time it's because when they go to buy, we are not able to buy at the same price as everybody else. And that's a reality that many of us do not speak about. So when we speak now about EMA, going back to, again, why we have decided to develop BEC around that particular region. Now you have, for example, a place like the continent of Africa. Yes, it's a place where many farmers and many manufacturers. Now we are also talking to regions at this present moment, for example, in Kumasi, where there are cooperatives of farmers and also manufacturers that we now can go directly to. And we now can say, those who do not want to work with us, we can now bypass you. So it's also looking at the whole of that element that a lot of us will say that we are not in. But when you come out of the regions, for example, like London, and you go into the Caribbean, and you go into the Americas, and you will then be able to see that there are businesses out there, manufacturers, wholesalers that look like us. So it's also, in terms of the value that we're also adding is it's also putting you in contact also with those people that you can do business on that level to help you to keep your costs down or to introduce new products, etc., etc. So, you know, we have to look at the fact, and this is, I'm not going to go into too much because the conference in October will talk a bit more about this, about the new normal that we're entering now. Now, even though some of us want to say, well, you know, it's devastating. It's you know, businesses are collapsing. But again, what we're saying now, in that there are new opportunities. The new normal, we have to have that to work in our favor. And we are now also in a society or in a world now where it's what was impossible is now possible. And technology has allowed that to happen. So again, you know, with the BEC Boost, as we said before, it's about entering into new markets, but it's easier now than ever before. So it's about those brands who are out there, those business women and men that's listening. That is also the added value of what we're presenting today.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the conference in a second. I want to share this experience with you as well, but just based upon what Sister Ari has said, like it's an interesting one. So my family was running like a black bookshop / African designer wear store in East London, for a number of years, called Mama Africa Culture Shop, So every now and then we had to go to get a big shipment of garments from Ghana, and so that was a very interesting experience for me growing up, because I used to accompany my parents, to the freight service, right? And I never knew what a freight service was, isn't it? Like, you know what I'm saying? But basically, these are the people that manage, importation, you know what I'm saying, from foreign, And so interestingly, right, you get to learn these things, because obviously these places are in some big warehouses, so there are generally other businesses that surround these freight services, and you get to learn about how certain businesses are run and what businesses are out there, but also the businesses that we're not in. Because generally speaking, when we went to go pick up the garms, I realized that if I was to compare the people that run the freight service with the people that run the grocery stores in my community, it's the same people. Right, just what I'm saying, and they're importing from their own nation. So there was a point at which these well, they look like Julie mangoes, started to get sold all across like London, outside the people them store, And one day I went to the freight service and I saw all of these same mangoes right there. So I was like, rah. So these same people got these mangoes from Fidem country, and Fidem people are selling them in East London and Brixton and Harlesden and whatever else like that. And so it teaches you again, like what businesses that we're in and that we're not in. So maybe we need a black-owned freight service in London. So that
if there is a gap in the market, then that is an opportunity.
Yes. So you want to add something, sister?
No, I was just going to say what you just said.
I meant hi, but sorry, but go ahead, sister. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No.
No, I was going to say. You know what? There might actually already be one that we just don't know about, or that are struggling to get the exposure or the right kind of contacts. And even when both of you were speaking, I'm just remembering conversations that I've had in the last week, because as a collective, we need to get out of the mind frame that we're the minority in every scenario. We have to get out of that mindset. Now, of course, by maths, there are going to be some scenarios that we are outnumbered, but on a global scale and in many countries around the world, we are the majority. And if we keep listening and going along the society narrative of the ethnic minority, we need to literally throw that term away, because we're not the minority. Africa is the second largest continent. Outside of Africa, the most amount of Black Africans are in Brazil. And again, if you look at TV and whatever else the films and whatnot say, you're not going to see that narrative promoted, or those numbers. And they're stats, they're facts. So the people, the businesses may be out there, and if they're not, then that's a gap that we can fill. But I just think often we kind of feel like, because I did the same, it's not there and it's not enough, and where we're going to find them, etc. But there are so many Black businesses, and it's just up to us to hail up the ones that are already there, because all they need is a bit of promotion. And the recent Black Pound Days have shown that people's businesses have grown exponentially because of these initiatives.
Family, we're speaking to Sister Diane, Sister Kai, and Sister Marcia of the Black Economics Collective, residing currently in the UAE, where the weather is exponentially better than it is in London right about now. So we give thanks. But we are here introducing you to a new show called the BEC Booster, which will feature on Got Kush TV every month, whereby these sisters will be profiling businesses, in our international Black community that we need to be supporting, that we can highlight their profile, their presence, their services, their goods, and also give you, as our viewing audience, deals, on whatever is being presented at the time as well. There is a conference coming up, which is the Black Economic Collective Conference, online virtual conference, to let the people know when, how they can get involved, and so on and so forth.
So the aim of the conference, again, going back to over the last few months, what's happening, the news, and it's just many conversations about the lockdown, the economy's crashed, and all sorts of things that are happening. And then those who are in the UK and in Europe, there's the other conversation about the Brexit, what's going to happen in January, and it's like, a lot of businesses, they don't know what to do. So the conference is the focus of the conference is in brackets looking at the new normal, and it will look at solutions, strategies, and approaches for Black businesses to start thinking about in terms of how they can survive and thrive through this new normal. So some of the topics we'll be looking at is, for example, what we're seeing now is, with the lockdown, a lot of online presence. It's about now the digital transformation. It's, are you ready for that? Is your brand, is your business ready for the digital transformation? And if you are thinking about it, then, what is it that you do? What is your strategy? So we're going to have a presenter, a discussion about what that could look like for you. We also be looking at the opportunities of, international. What do you need to do to start thinking about branching out your brand, if you're in the position to do that? Or you may just want to have info or insight that when you are at that position, what are the key strategies or the approaches that you need to take. But then also for businesses, also, with this new normal, from an organizational change perspective, what does that look like? What do you mean by the new normal? What do we have to prepare for? Back in March with the lockdown, it shook many people. It's not, a lot of people did not expect this. We've seen a lot of business closures. Even though we've seen a surge in Black businesses, there were also many that closed. Many that opened were able to open because they took up the opportunity, and a lot of them went online, had the capability to go online. Many others, the bricks and mortars, wasn't able to do that. Some survived. However, we're saying now we're in the know, you could say now. But we want to make sure that you understand what this means to you. So this conference will allow participants to hear, to ask questions, and to also get involved.
So anything else you want to add, Kai or Marcia?
Yep, that if anybody's interested in joining that event, then you can feel free to jump on our website and register there, and you will receive all the details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, family. So you heard it here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's a lot of things that are out there to help. And for example, there is the Africa Free Trade Area that is a new thing that a lot of people don't really know much about. And they might just think, it's a new regulation or it's government stuff, politics, blah, blah, blah. But there are so many things that are out there to help. And if you attend the conference, some of these things will be discussed. We'll be able to break down further. Even if you're not necessarily doing things internationally, but still just understanding the scope so that you don't feel like you're pigeonholed in the UK or the US or wherever you may be tuning in from. So it's definitely a conference that will be enriching to learn more.
All right, thank you for the chat as well, because brother MA is letting us know that there's appears to be a black shipping company in Wembley. My wife's family use it to ship to the Congo, and they also do the Caribbean. So yeah, let us know, and in fact let the sisters know, yeah, of the Black Economic Collective, let them know, yeah, so they can get in touch and find out more. We might feature them on a BEC Booster in the future, kings and queens. It could happen. It could happen. Do you know what I'm saying?
Underneath that, I think they've mentioned that it's Gregory Blackburn Shipping.
Gregory Blackburn Shipping. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So Gregory Blackburn Shipping, you might feature on a BEC Booster, and we can get you deals. Yeah, somebody in the chat might get deals for their shipping to the Congo or the Caribbean.
They need to be shipping to the UAE. We've got lots of ports here. Start shipping things for us.
Most definitely. I'm gonna check the chat a little piece more. What's it called? Somebody says, thanks for the intro to Got Kush TV. This event has already provided info that I didn't know. Win-win and relative. I'm sure that comment is incomplete, but give thanks for that anyway. We give thanks for your viewing and listening ears, kings and queens. Right. As we go forward, yeah. So we've got all this information can be found once again. Yeah, making sure that you get the information so you can go back here at the blackeconomiccollective.com. Yeah, the blackeconomiccollective.com. Now, if there's a business listening and they might feel that they can benefit from the BEC Booster, how do they get in? How do they go about the process of getting in front of your eyes?
Well, once they get in contact with us via the website, we have a proposal pack that we can send to them. And we ideally like to really see what stage they're at. You know, some people want to do stuff internationally, but may not have a website up, or, you know, may not have all the tools in place. So we just kind of need to assess that, because we want to make sure that everyone's ready, you know, whether that's social media or having a physical shop, or obviously a website, or just somewhere where they can smoothly buy and pay and have, you know, customers have a smooth transaction. I think with some businesses as well, not just black businesses, but often there isn't a smooth process and it's not a smooth customer service experience. So we kind of look at that, and then of course we want to push everyone their way and get them the best feedback, really, especially if they've got something new they want to showcase. If you've got all eyes on you, you want to have the best feedback possible, you know, and not too many issues that kind of stick out. So yeah, get in touch and we can send you a BEC Booster proposal.
All right. Okay. Now, because we've got a question here in terms of advice, yeah, that you all would give to black businesses. All right. What are in terms of being able to feature, yes, on this prestigious platform of the BEC Booster, yeah? What are some of the things that the businesses need to have in place, yes, for you to consider them viable to feature? And what advice would you give in terms of, you know, before you contact us, make sure you have these 2 or 3 or 5 things?
I would say an online presence, and I think that sounds quite obvious, but it really isn't. And I think sometimes it's quite astonishing still seeing people in this day and age not taking advantage of social media. For the most part, you can use social media for free, and it can be overwhelming at times with, you know, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. There's so many, but I think visually, Instagram is a great tool, just like Pinterest, depending on, you know, what market you're in. But showing what you're doing, showing people the process, showing people your garments, whatever it is, pictures tell 1,000 words. So, you know, Twitter, Facebook, all these things are great, but if you just want to start somewhere, having an Instagram account is great, because, you know, anyone can look at a picture and you know, see a caption and kind of contact you from there. And it's very robust. There's many things you can do with an Instagram page. But just having an online presence in general, you know, we're not just going to be working with businesses here in the UAE. So if there is someone who wants to get in touch with you, if they can't find your email address, can't find a phone number, you know, if it's just long, they're going to go straight back onto Google and find someone else. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to make it easy as possible and get people buying with you, not finding an alternative, which we all do. You know, we all do that when you just, especially when you're hungry or whatever, you just want to eat. So trying to find and figure something out is the least of what you want to do at that time, you know.
Thank you very much, sister. Anything you want to add, Sister Ari, Sister Marcia?
Marcia, what do you think they need?
I think she's frozen.
I was going to say, I think, yeah.
Okay, we got an issue there with Sister Marcia's connection, so we're going to come back to Sister Marcia. Go ahead, Sister Ari.
No, it was just kind of going back to it's just really kind of standard things, you know, the customer service, your packaging, you know, can customers access to you, whether it's brick and mortar or whether it's online, you know, because one of the things that we want to support our brands or the businesses with through the BEC Boost is repeat customers. You know, it's not a one-off experience. You know, it's those who come to your store or to your online platform. We want them to come back. So what's going to be very, very important for you is the feedback, is the customer experience. So again, going back to what Kai said, is making sure that all those aspects, you know, from the customer service in terms of how they interact with you, your pricing, your packaging, everything is you know, it's in place. And if it's not in place, then, you know, there's things that we can do to support you to get you ready for that. Because at the end of the day, we don't want it to be a thing that you're not quite ready. You get the surge of customers. The experience is not what they expected. And then, you know, one of the things, especially about, I'm sorry to say about Black businesses, right, is when they don't like something, it goes around very quickly. Yeah. And I think there is that added pressure, I think also. Yeah, there seems to be a higher expectation as well in terms of the customer service experience for Black brands. So but not to use that to put you off. It's more of an incentive. It's like, well, all right, let me just review where I am now. What are the key things I need to think about and improve on? And if you're interested in the BEC Booster, these are the things that we will have a conversation with you to support us to then put with you a strategy together so that you can get the best experience possible.
Thank you very much, Sister Ari. Sister Marcia, we've got you back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that, you know, one of the things, you know, it's also about not just promoting people that are well established. I think, you know, there are a lot of people out there who want to start a business, but they don't know where to begin, you know. And so piece of advice I would give them is you don't need to do it alone. Yeah. Use your networks, work collaboratively. This is what we're trying to, you know, encourage right now. And also do the numbers. Yeah. Do your number crunching. Yeah. Because we've got to do better as a community. So, you know, these are two things I would say. Don't be afraid to step out there. You know, if you don't take that chance,
Thank you, my sisters. We're approaching the conclusion of our introduction to the BEC Booster today. I do hope ones have learned something and are in tune. The next one will be, what's the date on the next one? I don't have it in front of me. But we'll let you know. Yeah, stay tuned, family. We'll let you know when the next BEC Booster is going to be. But today we have boosted the Black Economic Collective, family. And we do hope that you've learned something, and we'll go and check out who they are and where they are and join them for the Black Business Online Conference, 2020 on Saturday, the 14th of November. I'm going to endeavor my best to be there and be in the building and learn and feast off the wisdom of these sisters. You know, we heard an announcement the other day, and I'm not sure where it is at the moment, that a sister is going to be starting a Zoom-like service, Black owned, so we look forward to seeing that. What's it called? And you know, I'm seeing how that develops. But that seems to be one of the primary opportunities in this, you know, new normal era as well, family. So I'm going to go around the table again and see if anybody has got a closing word, a final word for our viewers, and we'll see you again very soon.
What I would like to just close on in relation to the Black Economic Collective is the BEC Booster, along with the conference, are one of a few of the initiatives that, you know, we have developed and will be developing. So if you want to know more about what, you know, we have on offer in terms of events and training opportunities for those within the African diaspora, then please register or subscribe to our newsletter and be updated with information.
Thank you very much.
I would also like to add that, you know, in the coming future, we will be working on a mentoring program also. So this is something that you could stay tuned to hear more details about.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like to say, I mean, 3 of us are from the UK. We frequent London often. But whilst we're here, we do like to shop. So if you're listening and you're based outside of the UAE, please make it easy for people like us to shop with you. We want to support. If you have an Instagram or any page, make sure you've got good pictures, clean, nice quality. Make sure you've got a phone number and a way that we can actually contact you and buy from your site. If that's you, we've had a few things recently where we wanted to celebrate birthdays with people back home and weren't able to do the normal things we want to do and get forced to alternatives. So think bigger, put your international phone number +44 or +1 wherever you are, make it accessible to people globally because we are going to support. And that's us from the Black Collective, Black Economic Collective.
The Black Economic Collective family, Sister Diana Power, aka Arima Art, Sister Leanne, aka Kai, and Sister Marcia, who is Sister Marcia. Greetings and welcomes to you all, and we look forward to developing this show with you on Got Kush TV. We know that our audience will gain a lot from it. Stay there because we're going to sign off and sign out with our title screen. And we'll debrief after that. But thank you all for watching. Once again, www.blackeconomiccollective.com. And we look forward to seeing you and your businesses on the BEC Booster. Always remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got Kush.